So I don't know how many of you know this, but January 23rd, the new Star Trek series Picard drops. And I was is the key word there, looking really forward to it because I was a pretty big fan of The Next Generation. I'm not a hardcore Star Trek fan. I would say I'm more of a casual fan. I like the stuff, but I'm not like super into it because, it's kind of like Star Wars. There's a fan base there that's really passionate and really hardcore. But I did always like the stuff. I like the original series for what it is. I did like Next Generation. I like Deep Space Nine. Love all of the movies. I've seen those tons of times. I would label myself as a casual Star Trek fan for sure. And I do plan on watching this show and reviewing it when it comes out, but I think it's going to be bad. Because I don't know if you know this, but there's been Star Trek television for a while now. They've been doing these things called short treks, which I guess are like little 10 or 15 minute short videos. I haven't seen them. I've watched reviews on them, and they sound terrible. And then, of course, there's Star Trek Discovery, which pushes the boundaries on wokeness. I guess the audience is just not there. They keep renewing it, though. I've watched a lot of Doomcock's videos on it and a few other people, and it sounds like it's pure trash. Star Trek fans don't seem to care for it, and it's more in line with trying to be like some hip new woke show. Just like with a lot of other companies in Hollywood, they're pushing for this political angle. They seem to think the super loud people on Twitter are representative of the entire population, and they are clearly not. We had a lot of flops in the theaters recently, a lot of stuff like Doctor Who flopping, because all of this stuff is trying to cater to those people, and they fail. Because these people, they don't watch any of this stuff. I don't even think they can afford anything to watch it on. So that's kind of a problem in itself. So given Star Trek Discovery's history and some stuff that's coming out from interviews with Patrick Stewart, I think this show is going to go full woke, and it's going to be terrible. Check out this stuff that's going on right now. You've got the shills coming out and saying, the moment when Picard became more important than Kirk in Star Trek history. And it's like, isn't that something that fans debate with and have fun? But of course, now the shills are coming out and pushing it. And I wonder, could it have something to do with headlines like this? Patrick Stewart promotes Star Trek Picard by urging U.S. to fix effed state under the Orange Man ban. Now, I just want to point out, I don't care who likes the president or not. That's not what the video is about. That's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is the case of people that are obsessed with this stuff, and there's a lot of them. All of them are out in Hollywood. All of them are just, I don't know what's wrong with them, but Hollywood is creatively bankrupt. Just about all of entertainment is. They're so worked up about all this stuff that it seeps into their storytelling and it ruins it. Here's Star Trek Discovery Season 2. Not a very good user rating, but of course, the shill critics who are all in that mindset and love it and sit and dream about this crap all day long, they of course love this stuff. That's part of the problem. It's part of the problem. But it's not just in Hollywood, it's everywhere. You got people like that over in Britain as well, and it seems that Patrick Stewart has become obsessed with it as well. And that becomes pretty clear when you read this article that has an interview with Patrick Stewart. I want to point out that Stewart's an executive producer on the show, and Kurtzman, we already know, wants to go full woke. He's taken everything Star Trek full woke. But the stuff from Stewart makes me think that a lot of the stuff happening in this was his idea because he's playing with it a lot. So here are my concerns. So here's where it starts off. Next to an armchair in Patrick Stewart's living room in Brooklyn sits a small table, and on a black 3-ring binder, the 79-year-old actor leans in and clasps his hands when recounting his upbringing in the north of England. He stands and paces when a subject such as Brexit or Donald Trump aggravates him. All the while, he touches his binder over and over again, tapping it, thumbing through it, waving it around. So if they talk about those two things, he gets up and he's all mad and wailing his arms around. Really rational. So he's already got the NPC mentality, unfortunately. And I like Patrick Stewart. And I really wouldn't care about any of this stuff if it wasn't the main reason he was coming back to do the show. This is why he's coming back to do the show, because they're going to let real world stuff influence it. And, people always point out, well, there's always been real world influences in entertainment. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But it was done a lot better. Everyone that's making entertainment now are nothing but hacks. It's an industry of nepotism and getting in because of your buddies, and you've got to have the right mindset. You don't have the right mindset, they boot your ass out of Hollywood. And that's happened a few times. But anyway, Stewart's coming back. And there's a few reasons why. But first, let's talk about the fact right here where it says he's resisted past offers. I have some thoughts to why he's come back. First off, a big pile of money. Big pile of money, I assure you. Second, that, well, he's probably got a lot of control. I mean, he's an executive producer. And from what I remember reading about the series is he had a heavy hand in it. And I'm sure Kurtzman was on board. It's all about the message with him. Obviously, it's not about the ratings or the audience, or he would have made drastic changes. And I kind of think the same thing about CBS because they would have probably booted him. I'd really like to see what CBS All Access has gotten from Star Trek Discovery. If they've gotten a ton of people to come watch their stuff, I'm sure most of the views, if anything, I hear no one even pirates it. I hear it's a very low pirated show, so no one cares about it. Nobody. And I don't think anybody's going to care about this show. Because just listen to this pitch for the show. And then think about everything that Star Trek Discovery's been. And just imagine a show totally built on the Orange Man bad theme. That's where they're going to go with. I guarantee you that the leader of Starfleet, the president of Starfleet, is probably going to be just like him. Wait and see. I'm calling it now. It's going to be a carbon copy. So anyway, Picard finds its hero living in near isolation on a very uncosmic French vineyard. He is retired and estranged from Starfleet, the interstellar navy to which he devoted most of his life. He's haunted by a pair of catastrophes, one personal, the other societal. The death of his android colleague, Lieutenant Commander Data, as seen in Nemesis, and a refugee crisis spawned by the destruction of the planet Romulus. When those two seemingly desperate strands of his life cross, Picard returns to action, this time without the backing of Starfleet, whose moral center has shifted. So I'm sure you could hear the NPC statements in that, but if you didn't, let me read you a little bit more. In a way, the world of the next generation had been too perfect and too protected, he says. It was the Enterprise. It was a safe world of respect and communication and care, and sometimes fun. In Picard, the Federation, a union of planets bonded by shared democratic values, has taken an isolationist turn. The new show, Stewart says, was me responding to the world of Brexit and Trump and feeling, why hasn't the Federation changed? Why hasn't Starfleet changed? Maybe they're not as reliable and trustworthy as we all thought. And then the final one, I'm not sure which one of us is in the most trouble. He's referring to the interviewer, and he's talking about the U.S. and England. He says of Britain and the United States, I think it's actually the U.K. I think we're effed. Completely effed. And that's in response to Brexit. So I also wanted to point out, I thought this was funny, he expressed enthusiasm for the recent Charlie's Angels reboot. The one that blamed men for not showing up to watch it. So that's pretty much it for this interview and what I wanted to point out. The rest of the interview is fairly normal, just kind of talks about his childhood growing up and how he got into acting and stuff. But it was the parts from that interview that got me worried. Now, I'm hoping I'm wrong and that it's a good show, because I really would like a good show. I'd like a good show that brings in, all the characters that we remember and continues on to that from that great legacy that it's kind of picking up. We'll see. But given all the stuff that I hear about Alex Kurtzman and the disaster that is Star Trek Discovery, I don't know how I feel about it. I guess we'll see. All I'm doing here is speculating, but I got to tell you, from everything that's been coming out, from everything that we know about the way Star Trek has been handled, I don't think that this is going to be a very good show. I think it's going to be a disaster. Now, could I be wrong? Sure, I could be totally wrong, and this could be a great show. And I hope it is. I really hope it is, because I would really love to see these characters come back, and I would like to see something that's enjoyable. But who knows? We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully I'm wrong. But the way things have been going in Hollywood and with entertainment, I'm probably dead on. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about Picard. Are you excited for it? Do you think it's going to be a disaster? How have you felt about Star Trek over the past couple of years and the way CBS has handled it? I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. So I'm pretty sure I probably got some Star Trek fans on this channel. So let me know. Leave your comments, your likes. Remember, comments and likes also help the video in the algorithm, so please consider leaving those engagement points. Also, share the video. That also helps a lot. And make sure you're still subscribed. Double check that. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that, and subscribe if you're new.